This is Sophie Heller, and this is an SAT opposed question. So we see here that we're dealing with a hard-hearted executive and some generosity that contrasts with something he does in business. It's a bit of a hard question for a few reasons that we'll see, but let's just take it slowly. So we see first that the executive is described as hard-hearted. So that means that he's a pretty tough guy. He's a pretty, he's a business person. So we're going to see that this contrasts with his idea of being selfless and providing for needy relatives. So we want something that's going to contrast these two. And we see that it's difficult, and indeed people find it difficult to reconcile or to come to terms with the fact that his blank in business is different than his blank in personal affairs. So we know that we want, in personal affairs, we want to deal with this selfless in providing for needy relatives, and we want to make sure that it's in this order, and we want to put something here that is to deal with his hard-heartedness. So since we can more easily talk about this selfless in providing for needy relatives, why don't we look at the second blank first, actually? So let's go down our choices. First choice is avarice, which is a fancy way of saying greed. So that's not going to be good, right? If he's selfless in providing for needy relatives, that's not good. Virtue. Virtue, that's going to be a good one. Spitefulness. So we know that spiting someone, that's not being selfless, that's not being good to your relatives, so that's not good. Fidelity, that's a good one too. And inattention, so that's not right. He is paying attention to his relatives. So this was lucky. We actually managed to get rid of 3 answer choices just from 1 blank. So now we only have to deal with 2. So let's look at the beginning. So we're good with this blank. Let's look at this blank, opportunism. So that means you're doing anything to get ahead. And that's probably a good quality in business. So I do like this one. And loyalty. So he does have loyalty in business, but remember, this is an opposed question. So it's not difficult to reconcile his loyalty in business with his fidelity in personal affairs, because that means you have the same approach in both spheres of your life. Whereas they're saying it's difficult to reconcile his opportunism when he's doing business with his virtue when he's so nice to his relatives. So B is going to be the best answer.